Hello Bonsai Bros, Lawson here from the Bonsai Collective. This is going to be the first video I ever put on YouTube, so I thought best just to show off my collection. I want to show off exactly what I have, so here's a good record of what to do in the future. Also there's Tendy, the mascot of the Bonsai Collective. She's a corgi poodle and she likes looking at all the water droplets dropping down. Tendy, say hello. There you go. Okay, we'll start left to right. So, this is my collection overall. The top ones, you can see over there, are all ones which I started probably about 2 years ago. And the ones in pots are the ones that I've kept basically. Not gonna lie, I've killed a few. There's a few that are still growing well, so I like to brag about them. I thought now this is a good video for a progression, so I'll start from this top. That is, to the far left is a Chinese elm, and its brother is right over there. They came from the same pot, which I think wasn't a twin trunk, but it was something along the lines of that. So I was able to separate them and put them in pots. I like the look of them. And the one in the middle is a little tiny sarissa. I got this pot while I was in Okinawa for a week or two with my wife. And I thought a little tiny pot was suitable for this little tiny sarissa. Little cutie. Buxus Hollandii, which is an absolute pain to deal with mold and stuff. It is in a mix of Akadama scoria and pumice. This really works well for drainage. You can kind of see what I'm doing with this. I think you could. This one eventually, I believe this is the front that I aim for, and eventually these will get padded out over time. Shimpaku, little tiny shimpaku, one of the first trees I've ever had. Don't know what I'm doing with it, it's just living. So as long as it lives and it's healthy, it's doing a good job. Next, a little Saotome Azalea. So this won't sprout any flowers at all. Little tiny one. These are relentless when it comes to sprouting. So I'm going to remove all that. So my goal, I trimmed off a fair bit of this. This is going to be the main trunk. From here, hopefully we'll pad out and make a nice triangle shape. Junipers. This one on the far right is the first tree I ever got when I turned 30. So it'll be good to, it was in a little tiny 6-inch glazed pot, so I put it back into a soil mix so it can grow nice and healthy, and it's working quite well. Going to eventually pad that out so it's a semi-cascade 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of shape. There's another one that I received. I don't even remember how I got this one here, but hey, it's a part of the family. Welcome. This one I did with a tutorial class maybe 3 months into my bonsai journey, and it's been going well ever since. Decided to wire it and keep the shape, and hopefully I'll keep that size as well. Just padding it out needs a little bit more gapping, but it'll be lovely. Japanese maples. Tried my hand at wiring for this one, as you can see the curve. But the problem with the curve, if you can see it deep, is that it leaves a scar which doesn't cover up too well, especially Japanese maples. So I'm working with that. End game for this is kind of prop it up around that way. See how that goes in the end. Another one, I don't know what I'm doing. Seiju elm that I received. It used to be really bushy all over the joint, so instead I cut off most of it and separated the branches so it's a branch selection, so it doesn't double up, and hopefully when it gets a bit bushier, that's when I can shape it a little bit better. Juniper chinensis, a Chinese juniper. I got this from like Bunnings or something like that. These are very fun to play with, but very prickly and not many options when it comes to flexibility. So one of the teachers I learned from Takeshi actually propped it with a bit of bamboo to separate them. I'm going for that kind of shorthin size, the triangle shape. Lots to play with as well. Okay, back over here, the ones below are all in training pots. A lot of these are propagated, little tiny ones I'm trying to grow, shape up, nothing worth putting into a pot just yet. So here's the recording of the journey for these ones as well. All right, let's start off over here. These are night jasmine, I believe they're pronounced. This reminds me the smell reminds me of my grandparents' place when I was a child, so I'd love to get a few of these. They're not really going to be bonsais, I don't know yet. I'm just playing around with them, but I'd like to get them growing, have the smell for the rest of my life. This is a little yuzu. Got it from a seed from a friend. So now I'm just keeping it wired nice and tight. I'm going to wire it around, coil. That's the plan there. This is a Leptospermum, the Australian cherry blossom. Probably called Shazza. Oh, it says on the back there, joy. So I got this from Bunnings for like $12, and all I've been doing every single time is trying to just pad it out. So they're getting a little bit bushy, as you can see. I'm gonna have to trim that up soon, keep the triangle shape, and hopefully that's a new Christmas tree for next year. Moving on, little azalea that I got from Bunnings the other day for $8. Put in a big pot, slowly growing. Gonna wire it accordingly with this in the future. Fukun tea, yeah, I said that right. I'm trying a process on this one where one here, cut it off. From there to shoot off, cut that off. This is growing here, so eventually I'm going to cut this off and let that grow in a zigzag shape like that, pat it out. Propagation station. There's 4 Chinese elms, all from root cuttings from those 2 up there. So I separated the roots, put them into a pot. 2 of which I'm growing over volcanic rock, and that's going pretty well, I think. The other 2 I'm just playing with. Plenty to do here, so I'm just trying to see how they grow. If you want a bunch of trees, get a Chinese elm. You can get 12 trees from one. At the back of Japanese black pines, which I've just fiddled around with, wired. Play with in the future. I'm sure I'll go into detail in the future there. A few more. That is a Hinoki cypress, slow growing bugger. That is a Bacchia, $8 from Bunnings. The back there are San Jose Junipers to the left. Again, just playing around with the tiny ones, seeing how they grow. They're very slow growers. The one over there is a Juniper, which I've padded out, trying to keep that coil, trying to wire it out. So all it's doing now is just trying to survive, trying to thicken up and survive, and it's going very slowly, but hey, it's doing its job at least. I got no rush. Now the Bacchia, that here is a Chinese lavender star, which I got from a cutting, which I propagated, and it worked well. From one little cutting grew all this, so hopefully I'll be able to chop that here and propagate it a bit more. These are called ebony. I received from a friend. I think they're from South Africa, and she wouldn't disclose exactly how she got it. So, hey, not ask questions and be grateful. There's 2 of them in one pot. I'll have to separate them soon. Now, the Leptospermum that you saw before, here is its Japanese counterpart. Well, I say Japanese because his name's Naoko. It's the Australian cherry blossom yet again. Different flower type. This goes a bit pinker, whereas that one over there goes white. Again, I've just been playing with this, trying to pad it out, keep it tiny, due for a haircut soon. Juniper. This is going well. I got this as a pretty bad starter tree that was just straight up. So I wired it up, accidentally broke it, as you can see down with the L shape at the very bottom of the base. So in doing so, it became a curve shape like that. One of my teachers, Takeshi, he rousted me for doing that and said, no, how about you make it up? So he wired it back up, propped it up. It's been just padded out and getting healthy ever since. It's going well. Here's most of them. From one tree, I ended up getting so many more cuttings and stuff growing from these. So there's a little mountain of trees here. It looks like a little swamp cypress. These are swamp cypress. They grow fantastic in water. That's why they're submerged 3/4. The ones over here dying, there are the cuttings. Hopefully they'll get a bit better over the time, which I hope they do. See, they're going a bit brown, but hopefully there'll be 1 or 2 that sprout from it and we can go from there. We'll see how that goes. And the last one, my pride and joy, which I bought last year about 6 months ago. This is the Saotome Azalea. That is from 2014. I got this from Kay from the Gold Coast Bonsai Club, and she purchased it from the BCI convention in 2014, repotted in 2021, and it's been going great ever since. I'm just slowly padding it out, getting used to it. Konnichiwa. So excited, can you go? Danny's being a dog there. yeah.